And the point of that is we'll talk about the things that you did well in your first interview, and also things that we feel that you guys could do better in your second interview, okay? And also we're going to leave it up to you guys to do some self-reflection of what you think you did well, and also what you think you could have done better, okay? And the first interview won't necessarily be the job that you've expressed interest in, but the second interview will be. So I know Daniel has expressed interest in being a writer, so his second interview is going to be with the Philadelphia Inquirer. And Jamal has expressed interest in working for a record label, so his second interview will be with a record label. And the first interview won't necessarily be with, like I said, with the people that you wanted to interview with, but we gotta be flexible, we gotta be open to new things, and it's a good way to practice with potential employers. Like I said to Kyle yesterday, about how you're gonna be open for new ideas, you're open to learn new things.
So basically what that means is that if you find yourself interviewing with someone where you're like, I don't even think I'd really be interviewed for this, we understand, but the important thing is to try your best. It's a mock hiring fair, it's not real, but we want you to treat it as though it was real, because this is really good practice, right? Because then you're gonna get to go on, when you go on real job interviews, you're gonna be like, piece of cake, because you did 2 today. Okay, so that's why we're doing it. We're gonna be handing out these packets to each of you that just have some helpful guidelines for how we think you guys can like best act at the interview fair today. So we're gonna go through these together.
Put your names on, please.
Does everyone have one? So first thing, we were just talking about it. What is a job fair? Oh Lord. Here we go. There we go. So a job fair is a venue for employers to post brief blank for potential employees. What are you going on today? What do you think goes in that blank? What are employers doing? You think they're observing? Is that what you said? Observing? It's not really observing. They are spending time with you. What are you preparing for today? Okay. Interviews. Exactly. So. So let's talk about professionalism for a little bit. In our class, we always talk about when we want you to sit up straight, have excellent body language, good posture, not call out, all those good things that we know you guys can do every day. It's about being professional, right? So can someone tell me what they think being professional means or why it's important for when you graduate? Jaren.
Like being talking like smarts.
Right, so you come off as neat, organized, put together, you're smart. It's all about the area of your job, because you are smart, you are organized, you're all of these things, but it's also about presenting yourself that way so that someone thinks so. Philip.
Yes, speak professionally.
Speak professionally, exactly. We're going to talk exactly about the kind of language we want you guys to use and how we want you to speak. So,
Who can tell me some things you need in order to display professionalism? Like, what are some of the actions you're going to take in this interview to display that professional way, that how you speak professionally, how you act professionally, how you look professionally? All right? Who can tell me some of those things? I'll give you a hint. They're on the sheet in front of you.
Talking to you, right? So I should be looking at you, right? Like, hey, Jamal, what did you do yesterday?
Watch TV. Watch TV. There you go. So you want to be looking right in the eye of the person you're interviewing. You don't want to be staring off into space, looking at somebody else. Okay?
sometimes it's a little nerve-wracking to look an employer in the eye, right? If you're Khalis is nodding his head. Yeah, sometimes you don't want to be like staring at the person that's asking you all these questions that you feel nervous to answer. But if you really try your best to look at them in the eye, that shows a lot of strength, that shows really good character, and employers are like, ooh, I like him, I like her. They can look at me in the eye, tell me what they know, answer my questions. It's a really good sign. But that's what we're practicing today.
How to lose that, really how to even think kind of deep that you look into your eyes.
Absolutely. They look at different things, like your posture. If you're looking at them in the eye, those are of how well you're gonna work in the workplace, right?
These little things that you may not think about when you're just having a normal conversation, say with one of your classmates, are actually really important in like the real world or when you're on job interviews. It actually becomes really important. So who can tell me the next one? Jeremy.
Wait, where we at?
Right here.
Oh, chicken hands.
Shaking hands properly. That is something that's literally the most important thing of this interview. It's the first impression is the most important thing, and you have to leave a lasting impression. You guys are going to shake hands at the beginning, and you're going to shake hands at the end. And we actually have an activity later, in about 10 minutes, where we're going to practice shaking hands, okay? So don't worry about that right now.
So Daniel, when do you shake hands in an interview?
Beginning and the end.
Awesome.
Exactly.
Both beginning and the end.
All right, number 4. Khalid.
Using appropriate language, speaking loudly enough so the interviewer can.
So, Philip, are you going to be using slang in your interview?
What?
Are you going to be using slang words? Are you going to walk up to them and be like, what's up, bro? How you doing? No. You're like, how you doing, sir? Nice to meet you. My name is Philip. Very good. Very good. And when you're answering questions, Philip, do you want to be talking words? You want me talking loudly so he can hear you? Loudly, right?
Hey.
There you go. There you go. All right, number 5, guys.
Someone else.
Oh, sorry. Kyle. Disrupting.
Disrupting others during the interview.
That's you want to take that one?
Sure. So when you're in an interview with an employer, are you focusing on anything else but that interview?
Yes.
You're not focusing on anything else, right? You're just focusing on that interviewer, right? Yeah, no, you're exactly right. You're just focusing on what's going on. The interviewer, yourself, no one else. Doesn't matter what anyone else is doing. And if you distract other people, that's not going to make them happy either, right? Because they want to focus on the interviews too. So you just focus, do you, and make sure you're talking to your employer. That's it.
And last thing, last but not least, Daniel, what's that say?
Being polite.
Being polite. All right, so especially, well, you should be polite all the time, but especially when you're interacting with a potential employer or somebody you're meeting for the first time, being polite is huge, okay? So saying thank you on all these things that we talked about earlier, go into being polite, okay? Jared, you hear me?
Yeah, I heard
All right, cool. We want the person on the right to start interviewing the person on the left, okay? Ready, set, go.
Hello.
We're gonna ask, so we're gonna ask Kyle to read those questions.
Why are you interested in the?
Why should we hire you?
I'm organized, I like writing, and it's my favorite subject, it's my favorite thing. I do
Why are you
it
interested in
every
that?
single day. After school.
So what kind of things,
It's not
what's
messed up,
really
it's like, oh,
specific
yeah.
about working at Best Buy? Like, what do you like about it?
Money or
What do you like about the job? Because it's
Well,
selling things, right?
a job obviously gets you money, but
You
employers
said that you
usually
like
don't like to
selling
hear
things,
that the
right?
only reason that you want
So
the
be
job is
specific.
to
So when he says
you know,
why you're interested in the position,
you gotta try to
awesome,
think of
so
something
you're a
else. Try
hard
to think of another
worker.
reason why you want
I would
this
love
job.
to know that. Do you think the job
You
is
say
right
like
for
you really enjoy,
Maybe give one more reason.
you like
really
electronics?
specific to Best Buy.
Sort of. Do you like watching
It gives
TV?
me a
Do you like-
chance to meet new
Say I really enjoy electronics, I really
new
enjoy
people.
TVs.
Mhm.
I would love to
Yeah.
sell those.
Some things too.
Share that.
Sell things too. That's perfect.
Gotcha.
Got it.
So let's try that one more
What's your
time.
favorite
Yeah.
subject in school and why?
My favorite subject is science because because
I'm trying to
my favorite subject in school is science because
sell things to
you
people
learn about
and
like sea
trying to
animals
sell
and
things to
things like
people
that.
and
For 2 more. Another question.
I said, what's your goal?
What is your favorite subject
Friendly.
and why? My favorite subject in school is science because I like doing experiments and I like knowing about like how everything works in the body.
I eventually want to go to college
I want
because
to go to college so I can learn
One more.
we're
You
trying.
got that back?
Yeah, well, yeah, what we could say is like I want to go to college because I'm really interested in learning more and becoming well educated. And while I'm there, I could learn more about electronics, right?
Yeah.
That person at Best Buy would like, whoa, really has an interest in like what we do, right? Perfect. One more question to Daniel, Jerry. You gave 3? You gave 3. All right. I think we're gonna have to wrap it up.
Jaron, do another one.
Okay, guys. Daniel, Jaron, and Khalees to line up in the back over here. And Kyle, Philip, and Jamal to line up along this one right here. So after we do this, we're going to run upstairs and we're going to get started on the interview fair, okay?
Yeah, we'll tell you where you're going.
And we're going to be telling you where you're going to be going. But first we're just going to work on, we're going to work on a good introduction. So I'm going to show you guys that introduction first, okay? Okay, here we go.
Hi, I'm Miss Massey. What's your name?
Okay. All right, now let's do a good one. All right?
Hi, I'm Miss Massey.
Hi, I'm Nate. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Yeah, I just found out my first name. Sorry. All right, so you want to look the person in the eye, give them a firm handshake, introduce yourself. So Daniel, if you walked up to Miss Massey and said, she would introduce herself. You say, hi, my name's Daniel. It's very nice to meet you.
Huh?
All right, ready?
Nice
So
to meet you.
Daniel's going to go first. Kyle, you're going to go first. Hi, my
Ready?
name's Mr. Koenig. How you doing?
Hi, I'm Miss Massey. Hi,
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you
Take a
too.
seat.
That was awesome. Okay.
Perfect. Back away.
Back away.
Ready,
Yeah.
Philip?
All right, Jerry.
Look me in the eye, Philip. Hey, my name's Mr. Koenig.
Hi,
How
I'm
you
Miss
doing?
Massey. Nice to meet you.
My name's Philip.
Hi, please.
Nice to meet you.
Hi, I'm Miss Massey.
Let's try that one more time, Philip.
Nice to meet you.
All right, ready?
That was good.
Hi, my name's Mr. Koenig. How you doing? Good job. One through it one more time. Jamal, you ready? How you doing? Mr. Koenig, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. My name's
So, what are we doing?
Nice to meet you.
I'm
Have a
shaking
seat.
hands. Where are you looking? Silently.
I know. Huh? Yeah.
All right, we'll tell you where we're going once we get in there. All right. All right, guys, you can stand right here. We're going to talk to everybody real quick. All right, everybody. Everybody ready? We just want to thank you all for coming. You're about to meet our wonderful students who are going to be applying with you guys. And we really appreciate it. And we think you're going to do great. And we're looking forward to you meeting them. Okay? So, Philip, keep working with this. Go.
What's your name? Daniel. Hey, I'm Andrew. Nice to meet you. Take a seat. How are you? Walter. What's your name, sir? And we're looking for a marine biologist. And I think you're interested in the role. Why are you interested in the position?
I'm interested because I like learning about the animals that live in the ocean.
Animals in the ocean. Okay. What is your favorite subject in school?
Writing.
Writing and why?
Because I write.
Do you like writing? Okay. Do you like writing about sea animals?
Well, you're sitting right there.
Why are you interested in this position?
Because I want to be a rapper because I want to work in the studio.
Excellent, good, excellent. What is your favorite subject in school, and why is that your favorite subject?
My favorite subject is math because I like doing multiplication.
What about multiplication do you really like?
I like to use my timetables.
I really don't have a favorite type of music because I like to listen to I like to give like different kind of music a chance. Like I listen to like R&B, I listen to like jazz and stuff like that. And I listen to like the group King Leon and stuff like that. So I really like all kinds of music.
So you don't mind branching off into different areas. Like we have different aspects. We have R&B, we have jazz. It's good. What is your favorite subject in school?
Science.
Why?
Science because like I really love like sea animals, like sharks and stuff like that. Like it's really interesting, like how water have different layers.
Because you don't like if you do something bad, then they'll probably arrest you, and that could get you fired. Yeah.
What impact do you think a bad cop would have on the community that she serves?
Like if they did something wrong, they could get like if they try to do something wrong, they could get fired like that.
What's the biggest challenge you faced in your life?
This challenge is when like the biggest challenge when I get help and I don't ask, I like try to figure it out myself, and sometimes I don't get it right.
So what are you doing to help yourself overcome that challenge?
Now I'm asking for help from the teachers and they're helping me get better.
Wow. We just have to make things. What is your biggest need?
Math. I'm not really good with math. I mean, numbers are really bright. It's not really my subject.
Tell me about a time when you had to work with a group of people.
For example, today I had to work. I had to talk about different kinds of. I had to talk about like. I had to talk about Friday. So I had to share out like I did a practice interview. Share. So the person doing the interview, I tend to do the same thing back.
Get the degree.
So, yeah. What would you like for our news program? Is there like any career you want to do or any well, obviously you want to be a lawyer, but is there anything else you're interested in, any subject?
I think math and spelling.
Math and spelling. Do you watch the National Spelling Bee? It's worth watching if you have the time. It comes on in June. It's great. So your favorite subject in school is math and spelling. Why do you like math and spelling?
Well, math, always. Spelling is best.
Do you write?
I never failed spelling.
I was going to do afterwards, so that's why I'm talking about that. And all the things combined.
Yeah. Okay, that's your education.
Yeah.
That's good. How you feel about it? And you said right about you. How you feel?
Yeah, and work too.
Yeah. And why do you like seeing animals so much?
Because you're really interested to find out more species of it.
Yeah, there's like those crazy, like one at the bottom of the water, and they look all weird. And, have you gone diving at all? Like,
I went to helmet diving before. I saw an angelfish for the first time, like in there. Because I went helmet diving in Birmingham in 2010 because I took a cruise there. And helmet diving was so cool because we have an instructor saying that he used to have angelfish after a hurricane, they always disappear.
oh yeah.
And the moment later, when we went down there, we saw an angelfish. Wow.
College.
hire you?
Because I'm a good person.
Any other reasons, Jamal?
Any reasons? Like everybody thinks that I work hard as a team.
Awesome, awesome. Is there anything else that I should know about you? Any special interests or anything that you have?
Yes.
Okay. What are they?
I like riding my skateboard. You know. I also like drawing pictures.
Box? Oh, okay. Alright, so, in boxing, what are some training techniques that you have to do? What do you have to do to keep your mind and mentally yourself focused?
I have to okay, I have to stay on point, and I have to watch boxing matches to observe what.
That's awesome. Remember you talked about making an active character like what you like, and in the moment, that's when you get to come up with comedy, right? How did you think, Dan?
Well, it was good. I was going to the first time I had an interview I was moving around.
Huh? You were walking around?
No, looking.
Looking around. Okay. And this time did you look around?
No.
No. So you were looking at him. That's fantastic. Jamal, how do you think yours went? How'd you feel?
I think I feel excited.
You feel excited? Yeah.
I didn't explain myself really good.
You think you explained yourself really well? That's awesome. Kyle, what about you?
I had good eye contact, and for some of the questions I didn't know them, and I was trying to think of them more. I gave them the questions.
So you relaxed?
Yeah.
Didn't rush into your answers? That's awesome. What about you, Phil? What do you think you did well?
I speak professional.
Spoke professionally? That's awesome. So now let's talk about some things that you guys think you can improve on. So Kyle, we'll start with you. What do you think you could have done better?
Try to follow the answers more.
What do you mean, faster?
Not faster.
Just
try to
develop them more?
Yeah.
Explain yourself? That's something we're going to talk about in a second. That's a good one. Jaron, what do you think?
Stutter.
So what do you think you can do to what's it called? See, I'm doing it right now. What do you think you can do to limit that stutter? Check. So instead of trying to rush into an answer, so when she asks you a question, instead of trying to answer it right away, what you can do is kind of take a second and then think about the answer in your head. It's we do this in class all the time. You think about your answer before you say it, right? So don't try to rush into the answer. When you rush into an answer, you kind of get caught up because you haven't thought it out fully. So take a second, take a breath, and then think about what you're going to say, and then answer. All right? What about you? What do you think you could have done better?
talk a little bit more.
Talk a little more. Yeah, that's actually one that I was going to say. You need to develop your answer. What else? That's it? All right.
I think that's a question for you.
Yeah, let's hear it.
How come you study a lot?
Well, why are you working with this future? And I heard you're interested in a position as a marine biologist.
Yes.
Okay. Why are you interested in the position?
I'm interested because I'm really I'm really excited about learning about sharks and fishes and jellyfish.
Okay.
And the sea, basically.
Okay. And what is your favorite subject in school and why?
Science.
Science? Okay. And why? What is your favorite subject?
Because it's really exciting to me.
Yeah.
And it's really exciting, and I feel like it's like a lot to learn about.
Okay. So you're excited to learn about like all like species and stuff.
Yes.
Creatures, okay.
Because I want to keep writing more lyrics so everybody can love it, like all that other stuff.
So you write your own lyrics and things like that. Really? That's cool. Like, is it, are you more a storyteller, lyric? Do you write stories? Do you just write rhymes?
Yep.
Which one? You do both?
I do both.
Do both. Okay. What is your favorite subject in school?
Favorite subject in school is math because I like multiplication.
Really? There's a lot of people that actually don't like math. It's good in producing. There's a lot of numbers going into the mixing. You gotta mix the right amount. You gotta mix the right amount. Volume, right amount. Lyrics, all these numbers that are involved, things like this. So it's good. I'm glad to hear it. So, with this position as the assistant, I need somebody who can keep up with me because my schedule is like super busy. I have a lot of things going on. I have a lot of people to interview. I have a lot of people to produce albums to produce. What skills do you think that you possess to be able to keep up with me to make sure that I'm on top of things?
Skills. I learned how to clean up the yards, like use the mower and the blower.
So I think I use like anger, like worrying and what I feel, like for the training for Martin case. I write about what I feel and I was worrying about it, and I like worrying about a ride what happened and actually what the government would do to the people.
Okay, so you could write an article about that too. I like see what you're saying. So that was your biggest strength. What's your biggest weakness?
My biggest weakness is
Something that you need to improve on, or something that you struggle with.
as I need to
Proofreading?
Yes.
Again? Nice.
Okay, that was so good. What are your goals for the future? They can be either for like 1 year from now or just many years from now.
My goals for the future is to go to college so I can get a job.
Do you work well in those groups?
Yes.
Yeah. What do you contribute
Get a house.
What strengths do you have that help out?
Those are great goals to have. Is there any college in particular that you're interested in going to? You're still thinking about it? That's fine.
Safe. I feel safe in our city. I don't think it will change.
Was that last part?
It will change. We keep doing what they're doing because you don't know who's that killer or murderer in the neighborhood. Your neighborhood.
What's it gonna take for it to change?
A lot. Just got think outside the box. Make sure you're missing evidence.
What ideas are you going to be willing to bring to the police force to help us make the change?
Like I said, technology. A lot of some video games they have like a lot of technology to help them solve cases.
Because I'm on technology this year that I need to, because computers is my favorite subject. Another thing.
What do you like so much about it? Your favorite thing about computers?
I go on Facebook, Twitter, and go on YouTube.
Do you like video games as well?
I have Xbox.
Okay, so what would you do to help a customer who wanted to buy a video game from Best Buy?
I could order them online.
Great, excellent, that's wonderful. What are your goals for the future?
Maybe going to college. Maybe becoming a salesperson